Imagine a man who once ruled half of Europe now pacing alone in a rotting bungalow on a remote island. A man whose name once echoed in every royal court, now forgotten by the world he tried to conquer. This is not the story of his rise. This is not the story of his victories. This is the story of his end. 1815, the Battle of Waterloo. Napoleon Bonaparte, the self-declared emperor of the French, had returned from exile on Elba with fire in his eyes and vengeance in his heart. His 100-day campaign ended not in triumph, but in disaster. British and Prussian forces crushed his army in the fields of Belgium. Once the master of Europe, Napoleon was now a prisoner, but not a prisoner to chains, a prisoner to isolation. The British, fearing that executing him would turn him into a martyr, decided on a more brutal punishment. They sent him to the island of Saint Helena, an unforgiving piece of rock in the South Atlantic Ocean, thousands of miles from the continent he once dominated. Here, on this lifeless volcanic island, began the slow death of Napoleon Bonaparte. Our goal is simple: to reach 100 subscribers in just 1 month. I know it's not a big number, but every single one counts. If you're hearing this, maybe you're the one who can help us get a little closer. So hit that subscribe button. It would mean the world. St. Helena was not a prison by name, but by nature. The climate was harsh, the food was poor, and the company was worse. Napoleon spent his days reading, dictating memoirs, and walking in silence. To the locals, he was simply the general. The British guards treated him with suspicion, stripping him of the dignity he once commanded. His residence, Longwood House, was damp, moldy, and infested with rats, a far cry from the golden palaces of Europe. Every evening he dined formally with his remaining companions, wearing military dress. Women wore gowns. The illusion of an empire continued, but only inside his fragile mind. Outside, time was erasing his name. By 1817, Napoleon's health began to deteriorate. He complained of stomach pains, fatigue, and a persistent feeling of nausea. His doctors were divided. Some blamed the climate, others suspected chronic hepatitis. A few quietly feared cancer, but there was something more sinister. Napoleon himself seemed paranoid. He believed the British were trying to kill him slowly. He suspected poison. In one entry, his companion, Count Montholon, wrote, "The emperor fears his wine is laced. He drinks only what we taste first." By 1820, his strength had vanished. He barely left his room. He could no longer walk without assistance. His once powerful voice had turned to a whisper, and yet, even on his deathbed, he remained theatrical. He ordered a military uniform to be prepared. He dictated letters to be sent to France. He still believed history would remember him not as a prisoner, but as a king. On May 5th, 1821, at 5:49 p.m., Napoleon Bonaparte died. The cause? Officially, it was stomach cancer, but questions immediately rose. His stomach was blackened, burned from the inside. His skin had turned pale and brittle. Some parts of his hair had fallen out. His personal valet reported the smell in the room was not of sickness, but of something chemical. Modern historians found traces of arsenic in samples of Napoleon's hair, well above the average level. Some argued it came from the wallpaper in Longwood House, which contained Scheele's green, a pigment made with arsenic. Others believed it was deliberate poisoning, slowly administered by a member of his household. Was it Montholon? Was it the British? Or was it simply fate? Napoleon's body was buried on St. Helena under a plain stone marked only with the letter N. It wasn't until 1840 that the French reclaimed his remains and returned him to Paris, where he now rests in a massive tomb under the golden dome of Les Invalides. His funeral was grand. Dignitaries wept. Soldiers saluted. France mourned. But even in death, the mystery never left him. Why did he deteriorate so quickly? Why were the autopsy notes so vague? Why did no one investigate the arsenic levels? To this day, no one agrees. Some say he was poisoned. Some say he simply died of stress and illness. And some still believe Napoleon never truly died, that he became a legend, a ghost wandering the hallways of power, a warning to every man who seeks to conquer the world but loses himself. He came to power by the sword. He ruled with the mind of a genius and the heart of an artist. But in the end, he died in silence, far from the world stage, not with the roar of cannons, not with the march of armies, but in a quiet room surrounded by shadows. This was the mysterious death of Napoleon Bonaparte. a man who once desired the world, but died desiring a simple breath. Our goal is simple: to reach 100 subscribers in just 1 month. I know it's not a big number, but every single one counts. If you're hearing this, maybe you're the one who can help us get a little closer. So hit that subscribe button.